Guys, welcome. Chad Prather Show. Let's get this thing kicked off. All right, we're changing gears a little bit. I want to talk about New York today. New York is forgotten. I mean, there's no question about that. I mean, they're celebrating Ramadan in City Hall there in New York. Zohran Mamdani is bringing Islam directly into New York. New York is about to become what Dearborn, Michigan became, what Minneapolis has become. You're going to start seeing some really bad things. We'll talk about that today. We just talked about prayer and before the noise. We need to be praying for our nation. We need to significantly, specifically be praying for our nation. I am telling you, we are in a dangerous turning point in this country, and I want to break some of that down for you as we get into it. Let me see you guys, if you're still there in the live chat, let me see what you guys are saying. A few dancing bananas, a few American flags, some dancing party foul Steves, and yeah, here we go, guys. I want to talk to you about this. And again, we got to be honest. We got to be absolutely honest and be willing to tell the truth in this season, in this day and age, because what's happening in this nation is not good. And if we don't learn from history, there's a lesson in history that nations, they just keep learning the hard way. And I'm going to tell you, it's the lesson of what happens when a culture walks into another culture and slowly begins to replace it, while the host nation pretends nothing's happening and everything's okay. Can I just tell you from history that that never ends well? You can't show me how many people are out there saying, well, there's nobody illegal on conquered land, or whatever they say, stolen land, or whatever they want to say. Well, you know what we're about to see? You're about to see some stolen land happen right here. And it's going to happen without a shot being fired. None of this ends well. A nation is not just a land. It's not just roads and buildings and borders on a map. A nation is a shared story. It's a language. It's a custom. It's laws. It's faith. It's values, expectations, how people live together. It's an assimilated community. That invisible glue that holds millions of strangers together without entropy and chaos. Now, I'm not saying the nation doesn't have its problems, but let me just tell you, you still have some semblance of shared values that hold it together. Now, when a foreign culture enters in large numbers, well, I mean, let's just hypothetically say you just threw open, let's just randomly pick the southern border and say, all the miles across the southern part of a nation, you just threw that out and said, well, that's our front porch. We're going to put a welcome mat on, and we're just going to let everybody from around the world come in here so they can just not assimilate or take on your shared values. They're just going to come in and, do whatever they want to do and bring the traditions and values of their nations that they left. They're going to bring that into your land now. What could possibly go wrong? I mean, when a foreign culture or multiple foreign cultures come in large numbers and refuse to adopt that shared story, something begins to fracture. Now, there are those who are going to say, you just don't like brown people, or you just don't like people from other countries, or you're xenophobic, or you're just afraid of people that aren't like you. No, I'm just telling you, I've read history books. And it's one thing to have some kind of empathy towards people who are looking for a better life, who are willing to come in and assimilate and embrace the culture of the host nation. That's one thing. But people who come across the border and you say, oh, look, we're becoming very diverse. Well, there's no intrinsic, inherent merit in diversity. There's just not. I mean, there's nothing inherently redeeming about diversity for diversity's sake. Tell me what that is. I mean, tell me where it's written that everybody's got to look different and that's what makes us all look okay. I mean, again, there's no inherent, I'm not opposed to diversity. It should be amoral. It's not good, bad, evil, righteous, none of it. It's just the nature of having multiple people on the planet. We are diverse. You're not like me. I'm not like you. We don't look alike. We don't share the same thumbprint, the same opinion, same mindset. Our brains aren't the same, not the same thoughts. We don't have the same DNA. So by the very nature of creation, yeah, there is diversity. But if you bring in diversity in for diversity's sake, just so everybody can be different and then go out there and try to prove just how different everybody is, you go, well, see what a tolerant culture we've become. And at first that looks harmless, but see, history points to something. Because people say, well, we should be welcoming, we should be tolerant. Just don't make a big deal out of it. And kindness is good. Hospitality is good. Every great nation has practiced that. But there's a difference between welcoming people into your house and then on the flip side, welcoming people into your house and pretending the house no longer has rules and the guest gets to make up the rules. You follow what I'm saying? History is full of examples where nations ignored the slow erosion of their own cultural foundations until it was too late. The late Roman Empire didn't fall in one dramatic day. It was not a single invasion that destroyed it. It was decades of internal decay and cultural fragmentation and leadership that refused to confront reality. And by the time the gates were truly breached, the empire had already lost its identity. And when a society becomes afraid to defend its own values, it begins to dissolve from the inside. And the tragedy is that the people living through it often refuse to see it until it's too late. And if you call anybody out, like if somebody raises a concern, well, they're going to, you're extreme. You're full of hatred. And they try to shame you into silence through their labels. And so now the problem grows quietly. The neighborhood just kind of starts to look different. It changes. Languages start to divide the communities. Different groups begin living by different rules. Trust in your neighbor erodes. You know why? Because your neighbor's not your neighbor anymore. They don't hold the same values. Eventually, what used to be one nation becomes a whole lot of tribes living inside the same borders. At that point, conflict becomes inevitable. Not because diversity exists, but because there's no longer a shared foundation holding the diversity together. See the difference? So a society without a common identity becomes a house divided against itself. But the deeper tragedy is this. A lot of the people that are coming into the country, they're not evil. They're not evil necessarily. They're just simply bringing the only culture they've ever known. They're doing what humans naturally do, preserving their identity. So they wave their flags and they eat their food and they worship in their way. And unfortunately, the real failure belongs to the leaders and citizens of the host nation who refuse to protect and speak out with truth and teach their own culture because they've been told that their own culture is sinful and scarred from its past and therefore inherently evil. And when you have a nation that stops believing in itself, that nation eventually disappears. Because cultures don't survive by accident. They survive by preservation. They survive because people value them enough to preserve them. Healthy immigration's always worked best when newcomers adopt the language and the laws and the values of the country they go into. And the process actually strengthens the nation while allowing new people to share in its beautiful story. But when assimilation disappears, tension's going to grow. When a country refuses to even discuss the problem honestly, well, eventually the consequences are going to become even more severe. So the lesson of history is pretty simple, folks. A nation needs to know its history. It needs to know who it is. You can't be ashamed of everything. I mean, again, people do bad things in history. And we look at that and we learn from it. We grow from it. But we got to be confident enough in our values to defend them today. And then generous enough to welcome those who want to join that story, not just come in and rewrite it, join that story. Wise enough to recognize when that story is being erased and call that out. Because when a culture loses the courage to protect itself, it doesn't just remain neutral, it disappears. And by the time people finally admit what's happened, the nation they thought they were protecting, well, dadgum, it's already gone. It's already gone. All right, our friends over at Birch Gold want to, unlike most Americans these days, I mean, notice I didn't say any country's name there. I just, in all of that little monologue, I didn't say anything. I just hypothetically, a nation and its cultures it welcomes in. It could be anywhere, nowhere specific. But you might not care about your future, but Birch Gold does, and they want you to care about your future. And if you do, then protect it by gold. Get your future retirement plans, your tax-sheltered IRA backed by physical gold. All you got to do, text my name, CHAD, I spell it Chad, to 989898. Tell them that you love them being a part of the Chad Prather Show, and let them send you that free, no-obligation information kit on how you can diversify your future retirement plans backed by physical gold. It's going to continue to go up because economies are shaky right now. They really, really are, and I don't see them getting better anytime soon. So take advantage of what you can by being wise in these days and back up your savings and your retirement by physical gold. Birch Gold will help you do that. A+ rated, and they are trustworthy. Good friends of the program. I trust them. So anyway, text Chad to 989898. All right, let's bring him on. He's been over there. He's been working hard this morning, pushing those buttons, putting people in timeout. Party Foul Steve, everybody. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, I haven't been working that hard. I do read the comments, so I keep an eye on it. But
did you have to put anybody in timeout?
I did. I think one person kept the same link over and over. I threw them out for a minute, but they went away. But dude, I didn't want Above the Noise to end this morning. I mean, before the noise. Before the noise. I say it different. I say it wrong. I say the wrong thing. Before the noise. I didn't want it to end because I'm listening to the whole thing, and I kind of get it's. And personally, I struggle with praying out loud. I pray every morning with my wife. I'm not good at it. I kind of suck. I have it all thought up in my head, and it comes out of my open mouth, and it's just like stumbling through and stuttering through it. And but you get right to the end of the show, all the way through, and I got the biggest message that I needed for myself. And it's when you said, well, when your kids start trying to talk or your grandkids start trying to talk, it doesn't matter how it comes out. You're happy that they're trying to talk to you. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to complain about my inability to say exactly what I need to say when I need to say it. So, and I'm glad that's encouraging that you say that. I want to say as well is if you've ever had a child that's gone into rebellion, like maybe a teenager who says, I don't want to talk to you anymore, and then they come back. Isn't that a great thing? I mean, like that's like, your kid's mad at you and then they come back and they want to reconcile. Isn't that a great thing? I think I went through every bit of that with everyone, all four of my kids.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing, man. That's kind of the thing. It's like we try to put this performance deal on our prayer life. It's not necessary. Right. And it's just, he's just happy we came back home. Yeah. And we want to spend time with him. Isn't it great? Like my kids, I love when my kids who are adults now just want to spend time with me.
Yeah. It's, of course, Irish military families and spread out all across the United States. And, but I anticipate and look forward to that phone call every single week. And, and the next thing I got from this morning in the chat, I think, man, you got a whole lesson on prayer this morning, but you could do a whole lesson, I think, and I don't like to give you ideas really that much. I try not to,
I appreciate them.
But, man, on forgiveness and unforgiveness. Yeah. And, I mean, you could do a whole lesson on that. You touched on it here and there throughout that one this morning, but I started thinking about when you said, who popped into your head? And I had several people popped in my head that I'm holding, and I was like, I wasn't even worried about it because I just move on, don't worry about it anymore. And I'm like, maybe I am holding some unforgiveness in there that I didn't even know I had.
Well, I will tell you, and I've talked about it for a lot of years, unforgiveness and bitterness it'll poison somebody worse than anything else. Yeah. We like to focus on the sexual sins. People focus on that kind of scandal. I think from the heart of God, truly based on what the scripture says, the unforgiveness and bitter part, because it poisons so many people, I think that is far more relevant to the things that should be far more scandalous to us.
It's one of the things in the chat was it was someone's daughter was murdered, and they cannot forgive the person who murdered them. And I understand. I haven't been in that situation, but I would be like, I feel the same way because I was like, how could you ever? It's one thing saying it, okay?
Well, what I encourage people to do is say it. Yeah. You may not feel it, but we don't feel our way into acting. We act our way into feeling. And again, say it like your relationship with God depends on it. Say it like your access to God, because it's horrible. Horrible. I mean, you can't imagine anything more tragic. I can't. But say it and then let God do the rest. And that's again, you're talking, we're reading through scriptures of men and women who watched their brothers and sisters get murdered for their faith. And they still said these things. Yeah. Right? So that's the deal. I encourage people to act your way into feeling, and you may never feel it, but at least say it. At least say it. And like your relationship with God depends on it. Just say it. And again, and then just say, okay, I'm not going to keep bringing that up to myself. And that's hard. Yeah. That's hard.
That's a tough one, but it just got me to thinking that would be some, I think we all need some guidance on forgiveness. It sure helped me. I mean, the prayer thing just blew my mind this morning. So anyway, good job on that. And I try to pat you on the back as much as I can. I usually shoot you a text in the morning and say, great message, but I thought I would say it in person today.
Well, thank you, buddy. Well, let's deal with Mamdani in New York. Let's talk about this dude. In the top stories here, Mamdani, man, this guy. So he holds a Muslim prayer in New York City Hall. Now, again, people are like, well, what's the problem with that? Y'all believe in the 10 Commandments and you'd want prayer in schools and all this. No. You guys have talked about the separation clause for all this time. You wanted the separation of church and state. This guy, he is celebrating Ramadan in the city hall. So again, and by the way, that's an ISIS symbol he just made right there, but we won't get into that. I'm just telling you that right there, that's an ISIS symbol right there. That finger in the air, that's an ISIS symbol. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but it is. But he's going to sit there on the floor talking about Ramadan and what it means to him. And New York forgot. That never forget stuff, they forgot. And I'm telling you, what these people believe, what they believe, there's your ISIS symbol right there. That guy made it right there in the City Hall in New York. And you can call me a conspiracy theorist all you want to, but he just sat there and stuck that finger up in the air. And he made that symbol. So that right there is what we're bringing into this country. What they're wanting to institute in this country, that is not a freedom of peaceful religion expression. It looks harmless. They're just sitting on the floor eating chickens. And
it's daylight hours, they're fasting, so they're not eating nothing, right?
Well, they start when the sun goes down. So, see, they're eating now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so see, they call it a fast, but they feast once
unless
the sun
you're
goes
menstruating
down.
And then you don't have to fast.
Right. So listen to what he has to say.
The reason that I love Ramadan so much is for everything else that it means, for the time of reflection, the time of focus, and really a time where you understand yourself as part of something larger than just as an individual. And even just having you all here today, even just sitting on the floor, the transformation of a space that I've only ever known in one way, frankly, it is a gift. And it's a real joy to have you all here.
So, all right. I mean, how does that make you feel? I want to see you guys in the, again, we're talking about a political movement here. This is not a religion of peace. It's not,
And that's New York City. I mean, New York City is like you think, when you hear New York, you think America. And they've worked their way in there. It's just going to spread from there. We're going to allow it. We're going to sit back under the freedom of religion, and we're going to allow it because it's you wouldn't see. Have you seen Christians doing that? What would happen if they did it?
People lose their minds.
They lost their mind because people were praying over President Trump.
Yeah. I mean, again, what happened? Okay, so you bring up a fantastic point there, my friend. So there were a lot of people. There were people praying outside of the West Wing of the White House. I saw the clip yesterday where they were praying for, the Spirit of God to move and all of this. They were praying a Christian prayer, and they were pretty fervent about it. They were pretty excitable, and people were like, oh, imagine sitting around outside screaming for God to do something. That was the critics. But yet it's okay for them to go on. Let me tell you what's happened during Ramadan, the Battle of Badr during 624 AD, which was an Islamic victory, the conquest of Mecca in 830 AD. All of those happened during Ramadan. So a lot of their extremist attacks have also been carried out during Ramadan by jihadist groups who claim that the month carries special spiritual reward for their martyrdom. So again, we see what CNN said the other day about these boys who crossed the border from Pennsylvania into New York, and what could have been a beautiful day in New York, enjoying this wonderful weather we had, instead decided to toss improvised devices into a crowd of protesters. That's what CNN said the other day.
And then they came back. They came back on that and tried to walk it back, and it was like, what are they?
Idiots. Idiots. And so, again, you can't say this whole thing. Go back to Mamdani's thing sitting there on the floor. I want you guys to pay attention to something real quick. Go back, David, if you don't mind, buddy, if you can still pull that clip back up, if you still have it. And I want us to listen again. Play the clip.
The reason that I love Ramadan so much is for everything else that it means, for the time of reflection, the time of focus, and really a time where you understand yourself as part of something larger than just as an individual. And even just having you all here today, even just sitting on the floor, the transformation of a space that I've only ever known in one way, frankly, it is a gift. And it's a real joy to have you all here. The reason that
So he says, I want to feel a part of something bigger. Yeah, what do you want to feel? What's that community of what? Because I could tell you, when I think of Islam, it ain't a community of peace that I want to see embraced here in the United States. And again, all you got to do is look at the history of where it has gone into nations. So if 9/11 didn't work, they're going to insert this little dude. I mean, like if I was Satan, this is exactly what I would do: is put this cute little Muslim in the mayor's office there in New York, and quietly institute these peaceful little things. They're sitting around on the ground eating chicken.
The statement that got me on that was the transformation of this space.
The transformation of this space, which I have only ever known to be a certain way, is what he said.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to transform. If he'll do it to the floor in City Hall, what will he do to the city of New York? If they have their way, what will they do to the nation of America? The transformation of a space that honestly I've ever observed in a certain way. Now, let me take you back to another Muslim by the name of Barack Hussein Obama, who said he wanted the fundamental transformation of America. All right, again, what are we looking at here? This phrase of transformation, seeing something transformed. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not going to engage in the toxic empathy of saying, oh, just because their culture is different, let's pat them on the head and make them feel welcome. No, mass deportations have got to happen. And you say, but Chad, I thought that's not very loving. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I love you enough to send you back to the country where you can practice whatever it is you want to do freely, while the people in this country can celebrate our values and express ourselves the way we want to without being, people say, well, you just want everybody to look like you. I don't care how anybody looks. I do want them, though, to be of the mindset that built Western civilization, which, by the way, is the greatest thing that's ever happened in human history. America being the greatest country that's ever been created in the history. But see, again, we've misinterpreted all of our history. We've been told that it's all one big lie, and we're some evil entity, and therefore we should abandon it because America is bad.
Yeah, and before, I know somebody's already saying it in some of the chats, that's not racist. Islam is a religion, not a race.
It has nothing to do with race. Again, it has nothing to do with race. Like I said, I mean, I got into the car the other day with a guy from Addis Ababa, And we were talking about his Muslim faith. I was talking about my Christian faith. We were talking about prayer. We were talking about public versus private prayer. We were talking about who you pray to, what his thoughts were on Jesus. I can have that conversation. I didn't have hate in my heart. I actually had compassion in my heart. Oh, see, you white nationalists, you just want, you white Christian supremacy, Christian nationalists, whatever phrase they throw at you just for being a believer in Jesus Christ, who has a passion for their faith. You extremists, you supremacists, y'all just want to, you want everybody like you. No, actually, I want people to know the saving grace of the Lord Jesus Christ and come to a kingdom which cannot be shaken. Because I don't know if you saw that little video or that little picture David popped up there of 9/11 when those towers were shaken. I don't want to live in a world where that kind of shaking's going on. And I know that the religion or the theocratic despotism of Islam is not something that's brought peace to the world. It just historically has not. And I mean, we can take that all the way back throughout history and see where when it invades a place, it comes in to oppress. Literally, the tribes of Gaza have said that they were thankful for Israel. And again, I don't carry water for Israel, but they were thankful for the peaceful stabilization that Israel brought to the Middle East, because they know that the warring factions, even within Gaza, were going to destroy each other in the quest to fill the power vacuum that was going to be left if the leadership of Hamas was taken out. Somebody's going to rush. There's going to be more atrocities that are going to happen because they're going to rush to fill the power vacuum. That is Islam. It is tribal factions, tribalism. I mean, again, how many times do we have people who say, well, this type is not like that type and that type's not like that type? Well, you could say that about Christianity, right? I mean, but I don't see any Baptists cutting the heads off of Presbyterians and going out there and trying to stick broken Coca-Cola bottles up the rectum of the Methodists.
And I'll say this, at least, you have those far crazy Christians, and I mean like crazy, that other Christians will call out. You don't have any Muslims calling out against other Muslims, against the radical Muslims.
Unless you're in their countries and those tribal factions have to take over each other. But on the global scale, they're not going to call each other. You never have the moderates calling out the extremists. They say they're not extreme, but when something extreme happens, and they're going to turn around and say, oh, well, they're not going to condemn that. And to say somebody's a radical Muslim, you understand the word radical just means real.
Yeah. The
word radical just means they're really what they are. If somebody's a radical Christian, they're just truly believing what it is Christianity says. So if a person's a radical Muslim, they're taking the Quran at face value. They believe it.
And maybe I should say extremist.
Well, maybe extremist it's probably the more accurate word. But again, you look at the rise in martyrdoms that happened during Ramadan, and then you got this guy, this clown. He's a clown. Mamdani's a puppet clown who's used as a soft face in a suit to bring a certain theocratic ideology that brings violence and tribalism. I mean, in Minneapolis, I put a clip out 2 days ago. In Minneapolis, amongst Somali migrants, theft is 10 times higher than the other population in Minneapolis. So the Somalis steal 10 times more than the other population. And they were actually trying to put a study in place, spend however much money. They were wanting to spend taxpayer dollars to study the benefits of shoplifting. In order to appease Somali migrants who steal 10 times more than the rest of the population. Now, that is so stupid that, and again, people are going to say, I'm full of hate. No, I'm full of common sense. If I got a group of people that are moving into my neighborhood that are 10 times more, okay, I grew up in Augusta, Georgia, right outside of Augusta. If you know anything about the Central Savannah River area, you got the gypsy camps. The gypsy camps. When you go downtown Augusta, Georgia, or you go to the Augusta Mall, you saw the gypsies come through. You watched them like a hawk because they were there to steal your stuff. And you're like, oh, were you profiling? Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely, because that's what they were there to do.
If something's prevalent in a culture, it is what it is.
So rather than saying, hey, you can't come in here, like you can't be a part of this society, we're going to appease them and let's spend millions of dollars in taxpayer funds in order to do a study on the benefits of shoplifting. You can't make this level of insanity up. I mean, that's how stupid everything has gotten. Look at this. Look at this. Here they are. Here they are in Brooklyn. Here they are in Brooklyn. Muslims, they're going to block the highway. Oh, it's Ramadan. Here's your transformation, folks. This is what this looks like.
You over.
Play this. Play it.
Look at those cars they're driving. Those aren't junkers.
No.
Those are high-end automobiles.
I mean, that's a $250,000 to $300,000 G-Wagon right there leading the pack. Then you got the Ferrari. Then you got the Mercedes. You got all the, the other stuff that's there. It's ridiculous.
Hey, we paid for it.
And Mamdani ran on free parking and free buses and free groceries, and now he's taking away the free parking. The buses aren't free. Where's the free groceries? Again, this is like when I ran against Rocky Laster to be the student president in 8th grade, and he was promising he was going to put in vending machines in every hallway. No, you're not. You can't do that, Rocky. But he won. He won because the 8th graders all voted for him.
I would have voted for him too, Chad. Vending machines. I know.
We never got vending machines. So Abby Phillips with CNN, who's an abject moron. Play this clip.
I can't speak for Mike Johnson, but I would say we've had 2 terrorist attacks here in the last 10 days.
What does that have to do with Muslims?
So can we condemn those? Why are we?
Of course. What does that have to do with Muslims?
What does that have to do with Muslims?
There is a radical strain of Islam that's led to these terrorist attacks. Obviously, the vast majority of Muslims are
people
peaceful.
with terroristic ideologies here and all around the world. What does that have to do with whether Muslims belong in American society as a group?
Yeah, and let's be clear. Let's look.
I'd like her to hear the answer.
Hey, go ahead.
I'm talking about what Mike Johnson was saying.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what he didn't say.
But you haven't read his full quote.
What I'm talking about is what he didn't say.
Islamic extremism without compromising our commitment to religious liberty. He was chiding those 2 members of Congress. And
what does that have to do with anything? I mean, what does being Muslim, what does that have to do with American society? What does that have to do with anything? Is that we just had 2 terrorist attacks that happened in New York City this week. And so when I was in Nigeria, I traveled, Nigeria is the size of Texas and Oklahoma put together. It's a very big nation. I would travel through Nigeria with people. None of it is safe, but you don't go into northern Nigeria. Once you get to Jos, you don't go much further. You're certainly not going up to Kanu. Once you get up there, guess why? Guess why? I can take a little guess. The Muslims. I mean, you ask anybody in Nigeria, why don't you go to northern Nigeria? The Muslims. They will kill you. They'll kill you. I mean, you can buy a ticket. You can go to Lagos, Nigeria. You can find somebody to start driving you. You find you a driver in the, quote, Christian part of Nigeria. You fly into Abuja. That's Abuja's a little further north. Get into Abuja and then go from Abuja, start driving north. Say you want to go to Kanu. You tell anybody that'll drive you. They won't. You know why? They're Muslims. They'll kill you. So this flippant attitude on CNN with them, with their little cocky little faces that they're making right there, they have not at any time in their life experienced what's about to happen in this country if we don't stand up and tell the truth and actually deal with it.
Yeah, somebody said in the chat, some of those countries over there used to be Christian countries.
Yeah, it's called Europe. It's called Great Britain. It's called Ireland. They used to be Christian countries. It's called Germany. I mean, these places, it's called Europe. Not anymore. Not anymore. The number 1 name in Ireland last year amongst birthed children, boys, Muhammad.
That ought to tell you right there. That's enough said.
Look at this. Okay.
Keep an eye on it.
Watch this girl right here. Play this clip right here. Let her have it.
Here's what jihadis have done in the U.S. in the last week. One shoots up a bar in Austin, Texas, kills 2, shoots 14. Another one lights a Molotov cocktail and throws it at Christians in New York City. Another one throws a nail bomb or shrapnel IED at Christians in New York City. Another one tries to bomb a Southwest flight going from Nashville to Fort Lauderdale. Another one throws another IED shouting Allahu Akbar at a protest near Gracie Mansion in New York City. Another one makes a bomb threat and forces a plane to land in Atlanta. Another one drops a bomb threat at Kansas City Airport. And the DHS is reporting that jihadi threats against churches across the U.S. right now are completely exploding. Radical Islam, for some reason, is the one religion that the left will fight for till their dying breath, for whatever reason. And Christianity is somehow always the problem.
Yeah. Saw somebody in the chat there. You said I couldn't see it. It went by too fast. Saying you just got back from Ireland. You were in Dublin, Galway, and wherever. I've been to all those places too. You said you only saw one Muslim because you didn't go to where they are.
Yeah,
I could take you to where they are. I've spent a lot of time in Ireland. I can take you. Didn't you're on your own.
It's and you see like Islamophobe, in there too. But it's that would be an unreasonable, right? Fear of something like, and that's
you
a whole
be afraid.
list of. Yeah,
you should be afraid at this stage in the game. You should be afraid. See, we've been so focused on the other thing. That's another thing that I'm trying to do in these days is look at what they're trying to get us to focus on. Look at the things we are focused on. See, we're focused on the mental illness and trans violence and all this kind of stuff. We keep putting our little TikToks out there, our Instagram stories out there about these crazy people who say stuff because some cross-eyed dude's dressed like a woman and says all the dudes want him. Like I put that out the other day, and I'm like, we're focused on that kind of stuff because it's easy to make fun of that level of mental illness and point it out. But what's coming in this country, you think sleeper cells aren't here? Yeah, do you think, do people honestly think the sleeper cells aren't here? That they're not waiting on activation? They're not waiting on marching orders? Do you think they're not here? 165 nations represented in border encounters each year during the Biden administration at our southern border. You think that people that wish to do ill intent, we just showed you 2 guys that came up and threw an IED in the middle of people that were protesting. And then the CNN wanted to spin it and say they were trying to throw it at the home of Zohran Mamdani. They had to walk that back. Yeah. They had to walk that right back.
Those 2 guys are rookies.
It didn't go off, but it could have. It was a real IED. So, what do you want to do? There's a lot of stuff we won't be able to get into on this episode. But let me tell you guys real quick before we do anything about Rumble Wallet. Scan the QR code. Put your money over there on Rumble Wallet. That's what I do. It's a good place. They can't take your money, and the bank can't shut you down. Rumble can't even touch your money. Use the QR code. Go to wallet.rumble.com. Get it on Google Play or App Store. Get the Rumble Wallet app, and you can put your money there. It's backed by Tether Gold and Bitcoin. And I'll tell you what, Bitcoin's about to go through the roof again because they're about to start printing more dollars because of what's going on with this Iran thing. I don't like it, but they're about to start printing more dollars. That's my just little prognostication. I'm not giving financial advice, but I just think it's going to happen, and then Bitcoin's going to go back through the roof. But anyways, backed by Bitcoin and Tether Gold. So you can get the Rumble Wallet, and then you can even use it to tip creators like me and Party Foul Steve. Steve ain't getting a dime of that money. Not a dime of it. No, I don't know. It might be. Go over there and get that Rumble Wallet. Here's what Trump had to say about the sleeper cells in the U.S. Speaking of that, play the clip.
Iran sleeper cells there could be inside the U.S. right now.
I have been, and a lot of people came in through Biden with this stupid open border. But we know where most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think.
Is it dozens?
They came in through the open border policies of Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst president in the history of our country. And we've got our eyes on all of them. But the war itself is being prosecuted at a level that nobody's seen before.
The thing about these sleeper cells, they really don't have to come in and bomb things and blow things up. All they have to do is come over here and breed more.
And they're doing it.
Have babies, and they're doing it.
They're doing it. Let's see. Somebody said that we're too busy to answer the super chat. Let's see. 8-Ball, do you support the mandatory real ID in the Save America Act, which is electronic ID, which the CCP, I guess, uses as the backbone of its social credit scoring system? I don't really pay attention to what the CCP is using as the backbone of its social credit scoring system. I don't believe in a social credit scoring system. I do believe in ID, whether it's a real ID, a passport, or whatever the thing is. Like, I think the whole real ID thing is getting a little squirrely, personally. But the Save America Act, I mean, what they're trying to do in that, my understanding, is to make it easier for you to get a real ID. I mean, nowadays, like if you're in the state of Texas, your driver's license is a real ID. So, and it comes with the little stamp on there. But again, I'm not interested in electronic IDs. I'm not interested in facial scans or iris scans or anything else with a social credit scoring system. I don't believe in a social credit scoring system. So that's a loaded question that I don't think is exactly fair or easy to answer. Because basically that's one of those gotcha things. If you believe in real ID, then you must believe in what the CCP is doing with their social credit scoring system. So kind of a misleading question there a little bit. But I do believe in ID. I do believe in the SAVE Act. I believe the thing needs to be passed. I do believe it's going to get millions of people off the rolls, which Chuck Schumer warned about. And I think that's exactly what needs to happen, Chucky. So anyway, I don't mean no disrespect, depending on how you meant that question, but I don't think that's a fair way to ask it. Trump claims victory in Iran. I saw the clip yesterday on CNN. The Bassmaster Classic is in town, so all I'm thinking about right now is fishing. And so,
are you going to fish? Are you going to fish in it, or are you just going to go hang out?
I'm not going to fish. I'll be at the convention center in Knoxville.
Yeah, I saw you were with Co Wetzel.
Yeah,
is he fishing in it, or
he's fishing in the celebrity tournament today? So we'll talk about Trump here in a second. Leave him up there. He looks good. He's nice and tan. Nice and tan. I tell you, it's beautiful. Jason Kahn, Bass Pro. He came in. I picked him up at the airport. And then Co flew in. I went and picked up Co Wetzel from the airport. And so we hung out last night and spent a little time together. He's fishing the celebrity tournament today, the Pro-Am. And our buddy Randy Moss is in town. We'll see him in a little while. Cody Cannon, he came in. He wanted to go to dinner last night. He's the lead singer of Whiskey Myers. He wanted to go to dinner last night. I said, sorry, buddy, I'm already at home. I'm in the bed. You came in too late, so I'll see him. I'll do dinner tonight.
Your bedtime's like 9:30 these days,
dude. Right? It is. I'm in bed at 9 o'clock. I'm like, guys, And anyway, so we'll do dinner tonight. All right, bring Trump back up there. Hear what he said. He said, I was watching CNN yesterday over the bar there at the restaurant, and they were saying that Trump said this is about to end. So play the clip. Let's see.
And as we take decisive action to stop the threat posed by the terrorist regime in Iran with Operation Epic Fury.
See, this is something that bugs me about Trump. Again, bombing a nation, losing servicemen and women is not a campaign rally. Like I get it, but it's not a campaign rally thing. Like, I don't think that that's not, like, I don't like that tactic about Trump. Right. I know you're trying to rally the deal, but be the whole cookie, not a crumb. Love the words you share. God bless America. Thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Super chats are welcome. If they're $5 and up, we read them.
Is that the rule? I like the rule. That's the old Graham Allen rule. I'm down with it.
I'm good with the $5 super chats and up.
I'm down with it.
It's not free. It's not free to keep this thing up and running.
Well, no, it's not. It's definitely not. And I saw somebody in the chat, and I agree with them. They said this sounds like 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Man, I hope that's not where we're headed with this Iran thing.
He's not going to give you cannot give a timeline when something's going to be done. You know when it's done? When they stop dropping bombs or sending bombs to anybody else, and they stop. We must not relent. We must keep it going until they stop. Incapacitate them, wipe them off the face of the earth. I don't mean everybody in the country. I'm talking about those that are trying to bomb the countries around them.
8-Ball clarified, said, I asked Grok, and it said that the the information that we give the states can be asked for from the feds. That is a national electronic ID system or the beginning of one. And if you don't want the SCC system. Listen, I don't know enough about it to be able to talk about it. Honestly, I just know that there's certain things that I don't like that we have instituted in this country that resulted in a lot of stuff like the TSA and the Patriot Act and all that stuff. You know, this whole let me get all your information and all this stuff that we're surrendering to the powers that be, not a big fan of any of it. So on all of that deal, do we need an ID to vote? Yeah, we do. And how that comes down. Again, that's the thing. We start asking for these things and the government always, we give them an inch, they take a mile. Pop that super chat back up there. Let's see what we got on that deal. Do we have one?
That's from Texas Patriot, 1981. I got 5 on it. Party foul, Steve. I love it. Hey, ask and you shall receive. See?
Got 5 on it. Hang on, you got to get closer to the mic, David. I can't hear you. You're way across the room there. Rumble Rants.
Oh,
okay, that's
Rants.
what they're called. Rumble Rants.
Super Chat is on YouTube. Rumble Rant on. All right, Rumble Rants. And I saw there you could pay with Bitcoin on Rumble Rant. Somebody gave you the other day that was 0.0000325. And I looked it up, and it was $5.
There you go. It's beautiful.
And it was,
well, you can do that through the Rumble Wallet.
Yeah,
the Rumble Wallet thing. You can tip creators through it. I don't like the term creators, but that's what you do.
You're creating stuff all the time. You're a creator.
Let me say. Well, anyway, Rumble. I told the guys at Rumble the other day. I said, I want that little green bar that says Rumble on it. Like, I got this, and he goes, "You got to have 100,000 subscribers on Rumble. That's the deal." And I said, "Well, I ain't got but 51,000." So,
dude, your numbers keep going up though. It's
I haven't looked. I know that we were.
Everybody, make sure you go hit the thumbs up on this.
Yeah,
because that helps as well.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. It's your birthday. And even you forgot 73 years on Earth. Francis, happy birthday. Happy birthday. I want to refund your $5 so you can go get a cupcake. Go to Walmart, get a cupcake. Let's see. Let's skip the Jake.
That's over there on the...
Steve hadn't looked at the clock a single time.
Oh.
Yeah, have you?
Bad. No, I didn't. We can go as long as we want, Chad. The producer said so.
I got to do Newsmax here in a little bit. I think I got a little time. All right, here's Jake Paul. Here's what he had to say. Play the clip, Jake.
Come here, Jake.
This is the world we're living in, though.
Yeah, what Mr. Trump has taught me is courage. You know, we never back down from a fight, even if they're much bigger than you, much, much bigger than you. And I feel all the local Kentuckians feel the same way. You guys have that fight. You guys have that swag. There's a lot of young kids in here. The future of America. I grew up just a few hours away from here, and my dad taught me to fight. And all of our voices matter in America. And I'm never afraid to speak the truth, and I know you guys aren't. We are here representing the United States, and it's just a blessing. Thank you, Mr. Trump. We need more factories like this thriving all over the country, and I know he's going to be the one to bring that here to us. I know God is with us. I know he wants us on the right side of history, and everyone here has to do their part, and God's got us. Trump's got us. God bless. Love you, Kentucky.
There you go. You guys are having some deep discussions in the live chat, man. Y'all pretty fired up.
Yeah, I like it. I like reading through there.
Well, it's literally impossible to try to have that discussion back with you when it's moving that fast.
It is. It's hard.
But I don't know. Jake Paul,
You can actually slow your chat down if you want to. You hit up there 3 dots up there. You can slow the chat so it doesn't scroll through as fast.
Yeah, but I'm looking on my phone. I got about that much window space to see it. I've got 5 monitors in front of me that I'm monitoring at all times. And
I got 4. I need to give me another one.
Yeah. But everybody wants to lose their mind over, like we got certain people in different ones that jump on here and they need to sell their stuff. Everybody wants to tell you that you're a pedo lover because you're a Trump supporter. You can't prove any of that. Yeah. But whatever, you can't prove all that stuff about Trump. I'd love to read up on all the evidence that you've got that's actionable and let me know. We don't support pedos. Actually, we've done a lot of work to get those people taken away. But again, you never paid attention to that because you're new here. And you're an imbecile that doesn't know how to think critically. But such as it is, that's the way the world works. Join us for Before the Noise, where we'll pray for you. Here's a couple of pinheads of the day, though, before we get out of here.
Yeah, let's do this. I always love these.
This, here's one. What is wrong with people? Watch her face, watch her reaction. She's learned a new word, a new phrase, and that's all she can repeat. And she's a Red Wings fan, which should tell you everything. Play the clip.
I think you're being gaslit.
From the Iranian people? Like the Iranians themselves are actually saying thank you.
I know.
Okay.
I think you're being gaslit.
Why?
Because I've been gaslit and I know how it feels.
So you think the Iranians are wrong?
Oh, that's a strong word. I think they're being gaslit.
But they're mistaken then.
They're being gaslit.
Okay. All right.
I'm here to thank Mr. Trump, President Trump, and we are so appreciate him.
Yeah, I love President Trump.
I'm here to say thank you, Trump. Thank you.
I love you, Trump.
That woman, they would light her with gas.
She looked like
you do have another. You have another YouTube super chat. It's for $4.99. So
don't read it. We're on Rumble.
Okay,
yeah, there you go. She looked like she pooped her pants there. She couldn't get rid of. I think they're being gaslit. Never explains what she means by gaslighting, but she learned a new phrase. Because the Iranian people, I'm not saying that. I think that they're being gaslit. And I've been gaslit before, and I know how it feels. Okay. She just literally equated herself with the oppression of a nation and the people who have been ruled over by the mullahs and all of the atrocities. But she's going to take it down to gaslighting. Liberal white women, man. Here's one that wants you to stop saying the word illegal. Illegal, 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 illegal. Play it.
I don't want to hear another white person say the word illegal for the rest of my goddamn life. We are living on stolen land. Our ancestors forcibly and violently seized this land from the indigenous peoples who were living here for generations before we ever showed up. We do not get to call them illegal. We don't own the fucking...
Conquered.
I mean, are we living on stolen land?
Well, if we don't watch out, the Muslims are going to be stealing it from us.
I mean, there you go.
They'll be living on stolen land.
I mean, the Comanche pushed the Apache out of Texas in the 1700s. The Iroquois Confederacy expanded during the Beaver Wars of the 1600s. The Sioux displaced the tribes that were in the West when they moved onto the plains.
Yeah.
The Europeans came, and we had treaties, we had purchases, we had alliances between tribes and colonists, we had warfare, we had forced removals, we had the Louisiana Purchase, we had the Treaty of Fort Laramie. We had other things that were atrocities, like the Trail of Tears. Let me see what else.
We had Captain Call. We had Captain McCrae.
Stop it. I mean, we had the. There were a lot of displacements that happened before Europeans ever set foot on the North American continent here. Every nation in the world has been displaced or replaced or conquered or beaten. So to say we can actually, we have a law of the land. And if you're here illegally, we can call you illegal. It doesn't matter how many expletives you toss out there. Now, North America was shaped by centuries of migration, war, treaties, settlements involving both native nations and European powers. There were some land transfers that were negotiated. There were some that were unjust. And the modern United States grew out of a complicated history, which means we're exactly like every other nation on the planet. There you go. And if you try with your Easter egg fingernails to try to walk into any other nation on the planet, you're going to find out real quick what the word illegal means. Give it a shot. Just go to Portugal and try to walk into Spain. as an American, go to Portugal and try to walk into Spain. I mean, that's the same as coming to Mexico and trying to walk into America, right? You're not from Mexico, but yet you use that nation as an entry point into another host nation. Go to Portugal, try to walk into Spain. Watch what happens.
Go try to walk into Canada.
I got to go to Canada week after next. I got to go to Canada. And when I go to Canada, I was looking at a hotel reservation, and it gave me a notification about relaxing some of the restrictions of travel coming in from Muslim nations. The hotels in Canada were telling me that they were relaxing their restrictions, which tells me they had restrictions going on who was able to purchase their hotels, who could rent hotel rooms. Now, that's the real world we live in. Tell me, I mean, again, these people live in La La Land. They live in La La Land. They've never been out in the world. They've never been out in the real world. Seen how the real world works. Such as it is. Steve, quit being distracted. We're doing a show.
I am. I'm communicating with people. They got my reference.
Yeah, we all know. We all got your reference.
Not everyone.
That we were trying to ignore it.
I know you are. Maybe we should rent pigs.
Maybe we should.
Maybe we
should. We do not rent pigs.
Maybe we should.
Even in Latin. Even in Latin. Sean, man, I don't know. What are you on Facebook? All Trumpers are Nazis. We got another history book over there live on the Facebook. Yeah. Nazi trash, pedophile lovers. God, the critical thinking skills run deep. They really do. Pray for you, Sean. All right, guys, we got to get out of here. Party Foul Steve.
Hey,
final words.
I'll see you. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Well, I won't see y'all. Y'all won't see me, but I'll see y'all on Tuesday. Is it Thursday? Nah, it's trash day. Yep. So I'll see y'all Tuesday.
Oh, what is wrong with you, dude?
I just say what comes out of my mouth.
You cooked a bunch of meat. You cooked a bunch of meat pucks yesterday.
I did. They're amazing meatballs, but they're pucks.
You made a bunch of them.
Yeah, I did.
Why'd you shape them like that?
Because I use a little bitty measuring cup.
You just press the meat in there?
And I just scoop, press, boom, pop, put them on my thing and smoked them all. I smoked like 72 in different variations.
That's enough. That's enough. We don't need to get in the...
I'll send you pictures later.
You sent me a picture yesterday. There was a pile of meatballs.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Great.
Steve gets into the quantities of it. My quarter cup, measuring cup. You're funny, dude.
I don't even know if it's a quarter cup. I don't know what size it is. It's 2 ounces of meat.
I love you, dude.
I love you too. Not in a gay way.
It's sometimes gay. Oh my gosh, I love you, buddy. All right, y'all follow him at Party Foul Steve. Of course, producer David, follow him at David Medina PDX. Hit subscribe if you're watching on Rumble on YouTube. And hey, be critical thinkers out there. Use a little common sense, guys, and relax. Take a deep breath for real, man. You know what? You don't have to solve all the world's problems. I was on Sean Newman's podcast. Actually, it comes out today. You should watch it. We recorded it yesterday. You don't have to solve all the world's problems. You don't have to be an expert of anything. You don't have to. You can actually say, I don't know. Like, there's some things that I am prioritizing right now in my life, and I'm not prioritizing everything that you think I should be prioritizing, because that's how we live our life. It's not my responsibility to go on Instagram or X and be an expert suddenly on everything going on in the world, because you don't have the answers. I don't have the answers. We can't control anything ultimately except for what's happening in our lives. That is the beauty of being a conservative. I can govern myself. I can govern my home. I can govern the things that I have influence over, and I can be responsible for that, and then trust prayerfully that God's going to take care of the rest. That's the beauty of being a part of the kingdom of God, man. It's the beauty of being a child of faith and trusting in a God who can control things even when I can't. That's an amazing relief that's in there. So we're praying that God exposes all injustices in these days. We're praying that God brings peace to the earth, that if there's evil amongst us in our society, that he exposes that and actual justice is brought to the forefront to do something about it. That's what we want in this nation. That's what we want. There's a lot of people out there that are hurting today. A lot of people that have broken lives. And you know what? God wants to use us as an agent that brings some healing and restoration back to them. I hope that we can be able to do that. I hope we can do it as a nation. Hope we can do it as a community. Hope we can do it as an individual. So let's try our best to do that. I taught you a little bit about praying this morning, and go pray. How about that? We talked about praying on Before the Noise. We'll see what we talk about tomorrow. Anyway, till I see you then, I love you guys. God bless you. Take care of yourselves. I'm praying for you. You pray for me. Till next time. Bye.